Hello everyone. Today we are going to start lecture 06 of class 8 mathematics chapter number 7, which is cubes and cube roots. Now in this lecture we are going to talk about cube roots of negative numbers. Till now we have talked about cube roots of integers, cube roots of perfect cubes and cube roots of rational numbers also. But in this lecture we are going to talk about cube roots of negative numbers with the help of just a simple formula. Also, in this lecture, we are going to talk about some word problems which are based on cubes and cube roots. Okay, so with the high energy, let us start today's lecture by reminding you all that you all have to learn cubes of natural numbers from 1 to 20. They are not more, they are just 20 cubes. Very easy to learn because they will increase your calculation speed and also you will be able to spot some patterns using these numbers. We have already discussed the pattern in which you can identify the cube root of a number using the unit digit of cube, right? So let us start today's lecture by talking that what is exactly cube root of a negative number. Now to understand this fact, let me start with a positive integer. Okay, so if a is a positive integer, we are on purpose taking it positive. So if a is a positive integer, comma, then minus a is a negative integer, right? So if a is a positive integer, then minus a is a negative integer, right? So since it is a negative integer, so we all know that cube of a negative integer is also negative. Now we are sure that minus a is negative because a was positive. So we know that minus a whole cube is nothing but minus a into minus a into minus a. Now this a into a into a, it would be a cube, right? Now minus into minus would be plus into minus, so it would be negative. So that is the perspective from which we are seeing that how the cube of a negative number is actually calculated. Now from this perspective, if you try to find out the cube root, then it would be very easy, right? So let us see that what would be the cube root. Now obviously if a cube turns out to be negative only when the number was negative, then you can expect that the cube root of this number would also be minus a. Obviously we all know from the definition of cubes that cube root of a number is a number which is multiplied 3 times to get that particular number. So you have multiplied minus a 3 times just to get minus a cube. So what will be the cube root? Minus a. Okay, so you can very well write that if you calculate cube root of this minus a cube, that is this cube root, it will turn out to be minus a. Okay, obviously again you can use that power figure over here, since minus a cube minus a whole cube is equals to minus a cube. So if you take this 3 over here, it would be minus a cube to the power 1 upon 3. Okay, so this is how power travels from LHS to RHS, right? In the case of transpose, when you take a number from RHS to LHS, it changes sign. Okay, in case of multiplication division, the number which is multiple over here becomes the divisor over here. Similarly, power travels like this. So you can very well see that this is the cube root of minus a cube, which is minus a. Okay, in general, if you want to write for any integer x, so you can write it like this. You can write in general, comma, cube root of minus x is equals to minus of cube root of x. Now this formula would be very useful in calculating the cube roots of negative numbers. I'll show you how with the help of questions, but now you can see that cube root of a negative number is nothing but minus 1 multiplied by the cube root of its additive inverse. That is, someday if I ask you to calculate the cube root of minus 8, just take out the minus outside the cube root sign. Cube root of 8 is 2, so it would be minus 2. That is 8 is. Okay, so this was the formula of how to calculate cube root of a negative number. Now let us start some questions and let us solve some examples to actually use this formula. So let us start by finding the cube root of minus 2744. Now just using the formula, cube root of minus 2744. We have just written it, that negative sign would come out, so it would be cube root of 2744, right? So this is minus of cube root of 2744, so negative is coming outside. Now if you want to calculate 2744 cube root, you know it, but let us do that also with the help of prime factorization. Okay, so let us calculate that also. Since it is an even number, we'll start with 2. So 2 into 3 would be 6, then 1 remainder, so 1 and 4 would be 14, so 2 into 7 would be 14, and 2 into 2 would be 4. Again it is an even number, so start with 2. 2 into 6 would be 12, then 1 and 7 would be 17, so 2 into 8 is 16, then 1 into 2 is 12, so 2 into 6 is 12. Again 2. 2 into 3 would be 6, 2 into 4 would be 8, and then again 2 into 3 would be 6. Now we all know that it is 7 cube, so we'll divide by 7, 4, and then 63, so it would be 9, 49. Then we'll divide by 7, so it would be 7, and then again, so it would be 1. So this is 3 factors, and these are also 3 factors, so we have made triplets. So negative 2744 can be written as 2 into 2 into 2 into 7 into 7 into 7, right? Now we have made the triplet. So what this cube root actually does, it takes out one factor from the triplet. So minus is standing outside waiting for its turn. Okay, so you will take 2 outside and 1 7. Okay, so it would be 14. Okay, we already knew that 14 cube is 2744. That is why I asked you to learn the cubes of numbers from 1 to 20. So it would be minus 14. Okay, so in this way you can calculate the cube root of a negative number. See, now minus 14 cube would be minus 2744. You can cross check also. Let us take another example on the similar pattern and let us see what its cube root is. Okay, let us take minus 3375. Now you should already know by now that what will be the cube root. So you just have to calculate the cube root of 3375, which you would know if you have learned the cubes from 1 to 20. So let us apply the formula over here. So we are asked to calculate the cube of 3375 minus. So we'll just take out negative outside of the cube root and we are left with cube root of 3375, right? So let us factorize 3375. Now obviously it is an odd number, so it won't be divisible by 2. So let us check the sum of the digits. So the sum of the digits is 3 plus 7, 10 plus 3. Okay, it is 18. Since the sum is divisible by 3, that is the sum of digits is divisible by 3, then the number is also divisible by 3. That is basically the divisibility test of 3. So if we start dividing by 3, 3 into 1 would be 3, 3 into 1 would be 3, 3 into 2 would be 6, but it will leave one remainder, and 1 and 5 would become 15. It would not become 6, 1 and 5 would become 15. So 3 into 5 would be 15. Once again we'll divide by 3. So 3 into 3 would be 9. Then the remainder 2 and 2 would become 22. So 3 into 7 would be 21. Then 1 and 5 would become 15. Okay. So 3 into 5 would be 15. Now again the sum of the digits. Okay, it will always be divisible by 3 because I know it is a perfect cube. So you should complete at least a triplet. So yes, I knew already that it would be divisible by 3. So 3 into 1 would be 3. 3 into 2 would be 6, then 1 and 5, 3 into 5 would be 15. Okay, then we'll start with 5. So 5 we'll talk about, so we'll have 25 because we knew that 125 is 5 cubes, so you can calculate it faster. Okay, so now minus standing outside, inside the cube root. Okay, it is not my negative cube root. Okay, you should place minus a bit here. Now 3375 we have just calculated to be 3 into 3 into 3 into 5 into 5 into 5. So that is a triplet, that is again a triplet. So negative would be outside. So it would be 3 into 5. So we will have minus 15. Right. So minus 15 would be the cube root of 3375, not minus 3375. Okay. So see, cube root of a negative number is also negative. So now I must say that you would have got the method that how to calculate cube root of a negative number. Now let's step up the questions and try to solve this question. Okay. So in this we do not have to actually show anything. We have to verify the formula. Okay, we have already studied that cube root of AB is equals to cube root of A into cube root of B. So we just have to verify that separation formula. Now here one of the factors is negative, so it will not matter much. Okay, so let us try to solve this particular question. Okay, so here now 216 and minus 343. So we already know that what are the factors over here. So we'll take the LHS over here. Now cube root, right? So 216 can be written as 6 into 6 into 6. Similarly, we can calculate the cube root of 343, which is 7. So we know since there is minus, so here it is minus 7 into minus 7 into minus 7. Okay, so you can write like this. And what this cube root does, it just takes out one factor from the triplet. So it would be 6 and it would be minus 7. So it would be what? Minus 42. It is that simple. See, we have just actually copied the method which we have done in the positive root. Just we have added minus 7, minus 7, minus 7 because we knew that the cube root of 343 is plus 7, then cube root of minus 343 is minus 7. No difference. Okay. Okay, let us solve the RHS. Let us see if it is also minus 42. It would be because we have to show, but let us see the RHS. So it is cube root of 216 into cube root of minus 343. So it would be cube root of 6 into 6 into 6 into cube root of minus 7 into minus 7 into minus 7. You can obviously write it. Now this triplet, so 1 6 would come out. Now this is also a triplet, so we'll take out one negative factor, so it would be minus 42. Okay, I hope you can see it. So see, LHS equals to RHS. So yes, clearly LHS equals to RHS. So you can very well see that we have proved LHS to be equal to RHS just on the basis of a calculation of cube root of negative cubes, right? Let us solve another question. Now this question, now again the same question, but this question is based on question formula. So we have to separate numerator and denominator, right? Okay, so let us start again with the LHS portion. Now LHS is what? It is the cube root of minus 125 whole upon 512. So we already know that cube root of 125 is 5. So cube root of minus 125 would be minus 5. So it would be minus 5 into minus 5 into minus 5 whole upon 502 is cube root of 502 is cube of 8. So it would be this 8 into 8 into 8. Now using exponents and powers, we will have minus 5 cube whole upon 8 cube and its cube root, but again using the exponents and powers, we have minus 5 upon 8 whole cube, right? So cube root will cancel them out and we will have minus 5 upon 8 outside of the cube root. So that was the LHS. Now let us talk about the RHS. Now RHS is cube root of minus 125 whole upon cube root of 512, right? So it would be minus 5 into minus 5 into minus 5. Okay, so cube root will there and then it will again be cube root of 8 into 8 into 8. Okay, so now you can see that it is cube root, it will take out one negative from this side. Okay, because that is a cube root, so it takes out one factor from the triplet. Similarly in the denominator, this cube root over 8, it will take out 8 and we'll get minus 5 upon 8. So clearly LHS is equals to RHS. I hope it is pretty clear because this is just the use of question formula for negative numbers. Okay, let us move on to the next question. Now this question says that calculate the cube root of minus 8 upon 3375. Again it is the same formula. So let us start the question. Cube root of minus 8 upon 3375. So we need to calculate cube root of minus 8 upon 3375. Right, it would be like this. So we will write like this. Now we all know that it is minus 8, so it would be minus 2 into minus 2. By now we have learned the cube roots. Obviously we have just calculated the cube root of 3375. Otherwise you can do the prime factorization, that is also clear. So we know that it is 15 cube. Okay, so it is like this and there is cube root. Now we can actually separate it. Okay, according to the formula you could separate it at that place only. It would be cube root of this whole upon, so we have separated using the quotient formula. It would be 15 into 15 into 15, and that is what? Cube root. Okay, so what is the formula you have used? Since you can write like this, cube root of a upon b is equals to cube root of a upon cube root of b. Obviously here a is the negative part. Okay, so you can actually apply this formula, no problem at all. Now this will take out 1 of negative 2 from the triplet, and this denominator will take out 115 from the triplet, and you will get minus 2 upon 5 as your final answer. I hope you all got the point that we can actually use all this product formula also and this question formula also for negative numbers too, right? It is equally applicable because unlike square and square roots, in this particular chapter cubes can be negative and cube roots can also be negative, right? So that is the particular concept. Let us move on to the next question, and which are nothing but the word problems which are based on the chapter. Now this word problem says that prove that if a number is tripled, okay, then its cubes will be 27 times the cube of the given number. So we can easily prove that. Now what this number says, prove that a number. So which number? So let us start by taking the number. Okay, let x be a real number. Okay, or you can take integer also. Okay, so let us take let x be a real number, general term. Okay, then it says prove that if a number is tripled, then its cubes will be 27 times the cube of the given number. So let x be a given number, so we can calculate cube of x is equals to x into x into x, which is equals to x cube. Okay, so that is the first thing, that cube of x. Now it said if the number is tripled, so let's now we can write triple of x is actually 3x, right? So we have tripled the number. Now it is saying that it's cube, so we have to calculate the cube of this triple number. See, that is very easy question. It simply says that if you take a number and you cube it, okay, then if you triple the number and then you cube it, then the difference would be that the bigger number would be 27 times. So let us check it. Okay, so triple of x is 3x, so comma cube of triple of x is equals to what? 3x cube, right? Now using powers and exponents, this 3x cube is nothing but 3 cube into x cube. We will separate it. So what is the formula we are using? That ab raised to the whole power m equals to a raised to the power m into b raised to the power m. Simple. Okay, so we will have 3 cube, that is 27 x cube. Obviously you can see it is 27 times the cube of x. So we can say, so we can generalize it from equation 1 and 2. So from equation 1 and 2, comma, cube of triple of a number is equals to 27 times the cube of the number, right? So cube of triple of a number, let the number be x, its triple is 3x, its cube is 27x cube. Okay, that 27x cube is equal to 27 times the cube of the number. What was the number? X. What was its cube? X cube. You can clearly see that yes, it is 27 times the x cube. So it was very easy question. Again, the cubes and cube roots, the concept of cubes and cube roots have been used over here with the concept of the powers and exponents, and the format has been done in the form of word problem. Let us take another question which is again also a word problem. Okay, now this says the cube of a number is 8 times the cube of another number. If the sum of the cubes of the number is 243, the difference of the numbers is. Again, very easy question. Let us start. It says cube of a number is 8 times the cube of another number. Okay, let us take the number. Let the numbers be x and y. Okay, x greater than y, because obviously one of the numbers is greater than one of the numbers is less, so you can take anything. You can also take y greater than x, but for this question I have taken x greater than y. Okay, so it says that cube of a number is 8 times the cube of another number. Obviously since 8 is bigger, so we can write according to question x is bigger, so cube of x is actually 8 times the cube of y. Okay, it says okay. So what we can actually calculate from this equation, let us just find it out. Now x cube equals to 8y cube. So x cube is what? It is 2 cube, right? 8 is 2 cube and it is y cube. So actually they are 2y whole cube, right? Again, what am I using? I am using that a to the power m into b to the power m is equals to a to the whole power m. So I am using this identity in this format, right? Okay, so if x cube equals to 2y cube, then you can clearly see that cube root of x is actually cube root of this. So x equals to 2y, right? So we have got the first relation between the two numbers, that x is actually 2y. Obviously if x cube equals to 2y cube, then since they are equal, so x is equals to 2y, right? Now let us see the another equation or another condition which will help us to find out x and y. It is just the first equation. We cannot find out x and y from this equation alone, so we need some another condition, right? Now the question says if the sum of the cubes of numbers is 243, sum of cubes of the number. Now comma, you can see sum of the cubes, that is x cube plus y cube is equals to 243. Find the difference between the numbers. So since x is greater than y, we have to find x minus y. That is basically what we have to calculate. But now how do we solve it? Obviously x cube plus y cube is 243. Give this equation a name. Let it be equation number 0. This would be equation number 2. So if you replace x cube by 8y cube, you can easily solve it. So we'll write from equation 0 and 2 comma, you will get, right, 8y cube instead of x cube. So it would be 8y cube plus y cube is equals to 243. Okay, so we can continue it. So implies that 9y cube, since they are like terms, so they can be added, is equals to 243, which implies that y cube is equals to 243 upon 9. We can divide both sides by 9 and it would be what? 27, right? If we divide it by 9, so we get y cube is equals to 27. Okay, so it will get that y is equals to cube root of 27, right, which is nothing but 3. So you can clearly see that y cube y is equals to 3. So we have got y equals to 3. Now what is x? X is equals to 2y. So you can actually close them in a box to highlight it. Now from equation 1 comma, x equals to 2y, so it would be 2 into 3, so it would be 6. So you can clearly see that we have got both the numbers x and y. Now the question asks the difference of the numbers. So difference of the number, that is x minus y is equals to 6 minus 3 is equals to 3. Okay, so this question will form a very good MCQ in which you have to do all these steps to just get out the answer. Obviously do not leave the answer at x and y because question has not asked you that. So you should first of all fix that what actually the question is asking you. You should decide it. When I was writing this equation number 2, I had told you that yes, since I have taken x greater than y, so the question is asking difference, so I have to calculate x minus y. Okay, so that was the question. Similar type of question has been asked in the NTSC also in the form of MCQs, right? So that is a very good pattern. Let us take another question on the similar pattern. Now this says the cube of a number is 27 times the cube of other number, and sum of both the numbers is 16. Then the difference of both the number, again we have to calculate the difference. Since you are talking about two numbers, always take someone to be greater and the other to be less. So it is talking about two numbers. Okay, so let the numbers be x and y. Okay, and you can write x greater than y. Okay, you can also take y greater than x, no problem at all, right? Now let the numbers be x and y. Now it says that cube of a number is 27 times the cube of other number. Obviously the number which is 27 times would be greater. So, comma, according to question, comma, since x is greater, so its cube would be 27 times y cube. Okay, 27 times the cube of other number. Now obviously if we try to solve it, it is just same as the previous question. X cube is nothing but it is 3 cube into y cube. Again using powers and exponents, it can be written as 3y whole cube. So x cube would be 3y whole cube, which again implies that x is equals to 3 of y. So that is the equation number 1. That is the equation number 0. You can also give it 1, it to be 2. Okay. So x equals to 3y. So if you find anything, either x or y, you can use this equation to calculate the other number. Okay. Now it says that sum of both the numbers. Now at this time it says cube of a number is 27 times the cube of another number, and sum of both the number is 16. It is not talking about, see, you should always read the language of the question. It is saying sum of both the numbers, not sum of the cubes of number. Okay, so we can write, now let me write in theory also so that you can focus. Sum of the numbers is 16, not their cube, which implies that x plus y is equals to 16, right? You should always know that. So x plus y is equals to 16. Now it is equation number 2. From 1 and 2, from equation number 1 and 2, if you replace x with 3y, you will get 3y plus y is equals to 16, which implies that 4y equals to 16. So if you divide both sides by 4, you will get y is equals to 4. So clearly y is equals to 4. You have got one of the numbers. So y equals to 4. Now you can use equation number 1. Now from equation number 1, comma, x equals to 3y. So x is equals to 3 into 4, which would be 12. So now you have got both the numbers, but still you have not completed the answer because the question asked you the difference of the numbers. Now x is greater than y. So difference of the numbers is equals to x minus y is equals to 12 minus 4, which is equals to 8. So 8 is the final answer. So had it been in an MCQ, 8 would be the correct option. Okay. So this is very popular pattern and it has been asked a lot of times even in NTSC, in IM1, all other major objective exams, right? Now let us move on to the last question of the lecture, which says that the volume of a cube is numerically equal to its surface area. Then what is the side of the cube? Okay, this is again also a word problem, very interesting question. Now it simply says that volume of a cube. So we, first of all, let me remind you. For a cube, comma, volume is equals to side into side into side. That is, volume is equals to side cube. Okay. Okay, it is length into breadth into height, but since length, breadth and height all three are equal in cube, so it would be side cube. Okay, whatever be the side. What is the surface area? Surface area is equals to surface area of all the 6 surfaces. Now it would be what? There are 6 surfaces and each surface would be a into a, that is side into side square. So this is 6 into side square. Okay, so you should first recall the formulas, otherwise you would not be able to attempt this question, right? So volume is length into breadth into height, but length, breadth and height all are equal to the side length, so it is side cube. Similarly, area is 6 into area of one surface, because there are 6 surfaces in a cube. For reference, if you have solved Rubik's cube, it is an example of a perfect cube, right? So you can see it has 6 faces, so every face has the area a square, so it would be 6a square. Now it says volume of a cube is numerically equal to the surface of area. Why it has to write the word numerically? Okay students, because numerically means that volume can never be equal to surface area, because volume has a unit of cube and surface area is a unit of square. How? For suppose a side of 1, volume would be 1 meter cube and area would be 6 meter square. So meter cube cannot be equal to meter square, and that is why it has to write that it is numerically equal. That is a number. Okay, do not talk about the units. Okay, so you can actually take the x in any units, and that is why I have to tell you this. Okay, so we will start by the question that let the side of a cube is equals to x units, right? Then according to question, comma, volume, that is x cube, is equals to surface area, that is 6 into x square. Obviously we are not talking about the units, because it would be x cube unit, cubic units, and it would be 6x square units. So we are not talking about the units. Okay, and that is why I told you that units are irrelevant over here, because it has already said that we have to like you can see that 1000 liters and 1000 kilometer. Okay, if you say, see the volume of the liquid which I want is equal to the distance between these two places numerically. So what it means that you need 1000 liter, because the distance is 1000 kilometer. Okay, otherwise you cannot equate them, right? They are not of the same units. So side of the cube we have assumed to be x, so volume would be x cube, surface area would be 6 into x square, side square. It is numerically equal. Very easy. Now what we can do is, how do we solve this particular question? Okay, clearly if you divide them by each other, so it would be dividing both sides by x cube. Okay, you can divide them by x square, not cube. You can divide by x cube also, right? So dividing both sides by x square. So what is the function that we are dividing? We are dividing both sides by x square. Okay, it will use two properties of powers and exponents, and I'll tell you that. It's a very good question. Now what we can do is we can cancel them out. Okay, it is very easy, but here it would become x to the power 3 minus 2 is equals to 6. It is cancelled out, but here it would be like this. Now which property we are using? So let me write the property. So powers and exponents have a property that a to the power m upon a to the power n equals to e to the power m minus n. So here x to the power 3 upon x to the power 2, so it would be x to the power 3 minus 2. So it implies that x is equals to 6. Right, x is equals to 6. Now you can clearly see that we have not taken any units, so it would be 6 units. Okay, we have not taken anything to be specific like meter, centimeter and all, so it would be x unit. Okay, let me again show you. The question said that volume is equal to surface area. To solve them, we have divided both sides by x square. Okay, just to cancel them out, because we needed x. Okay, so we have solved this by using this property from powers and exponents. So x has turned out to be, because 3 minus 2 would be 1, so x to the power 1, that is x is equals to 6. So we can write, so we were asked the side of the cube, so side of the cube is equals to 6 units. Okay students, so this was the last question of this particular lecture and particular chapter. Okay, we'll meet in the next lecture. Now in this particular lecture we have talked about the cube roots of negative numbers. Similarly, you can revise the complete chapter. We'll meet in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye.